Hey everybody, Brian David Marshall here with Hall of Famer, multiple Pro Tour champion, world champion, Jon Finkel, and we're going to talk about draft. This is one of the most fun things to talk to Jon about. Not always the most fun to draft with him if you like blue cards because you don't get them. But Jon, what's your take on this draft format as you sit down for the final draft here at the Pro Tour?
So I think Dominaria is one of the better, more interesting draft formats in a while. I think that blue-red is the clear best deck by a very large amount of the rest of the decks.
Even adjusting for your normal bias towards that
No,
type of blue
I'm not
deck?
even talking about like how much I want to draft. I'm talking about literally just how good it is.
Okay.
The deck I've had the second most success with are train wreck decks, is what I called them, where you're drafting, there's sort of 5-color greenish, usually the green-blue base or green-black base. And then I don't really want to be drafting white. Black-green sapling deck, those are quite good as well. But a lot of times those, that shell lets you get into like the train wreck where you have, the 2 cards or 3 cards you're splashing from other colors.
I appreciate the PG train wreck usage here as we discuss this. All right, let's take a look at your first pack as you sit down for this draft here at Pro Tour Dominaria. Not a super exciting pack. What stands out to you as you look at this?
Look, I know everybody that looks at this and say, oh, you should take the Blessed Light. I'm not going into white unless I'm getting a premium card. Blessed Light is not that. That was immediately thrown away. I'm looking through this, and there's really no cards here that I'm really excited to be playing with.
How do you feel about a card like Fungal Plots? You talked about
I think
the green
Fungal
blood
Plots
sac
is
one.
fine. It ends up being a little bit less good sometimes in the sapling decks because instead of creatures, they have cards that make creatures. It's still good, and obviously it can be great, but I really want to be in red and or blue to start a draft. The Cyclops is a great card. He's a really good blocker. He's really good at blue-red. We have a lot of bounce where they even try to leave back 2 guys. Maybe you bounce the Journey Mage. Maybe you bounce an instant speed, which is even worse for them. I thought this was a pretty clear rampaging Cyclops. Although, I guess I would also say it's close. It's
Okay.
not like...
Is that the second best card in the pack? Or is it, or actually, I guess Blessed Light is...
If you make them all the same color, Blessed Light is obviously the best card in the pack. I guess Rampaging Cyclops is probably the second best there.
Okay, let's take a look at your next pack. There's an Academy Journey Mage. We see a Goblin Barrage. There's a Legend there in Baird. What are you thinking about as you go through this?
So there are only really 2 cards in this pack, the blue card and the red card. Hey, look, white, Pegasus Courser is maybe the best white common. Pegasus Courser and Blessed Light are pretty close. Baird is, he's pretty good. But again, the white decks are mostly traps. If you have 2 power creatures attacking on the ground, you're just not going to be winning. I really sort of want to take the Academy Journey Mage and jump into blue-red wizards immediately. But given that I already had the Cyclops, I grabbed the Barrage. Solid card.
Do you change the way you draft at all because of the kicker part of Goblin Barrage?
No.
You think about that, or you're just looking at it as a 4-mana removal spell, clear the way?
Yeah, look, at the end, maybe I'll make a marginal card choice, but if I'm changing my pick order because of the kicker on the spell, I'm doing something wrong.
Right, so just this and this is good enough for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. We get another pack, and we see another red removal spell. We also see a red creature. We also see a draw spell, which I know always something you're looking at.
Yeah, I like Weight of Memory, but it's a fair bit worse than Divination. It's a clear Fiery Intervention. I don't like Fire Intervention as much as a lot of other people do. I don't like to have multiples in my deck. I don't like to get early, but I really have nothing else to choose from. I think it's a lot better than Skizzik, and I'm definitely not going to jump into some other color for a worse card.
And a card like Vidalian Arcanist is something you could pick up much later in the draft if you even want it.
I love Arcanists. I think they're great in the blue-red wizard decks. 1/3 is a pretty good body in this format. It's a lot better than 2/2. Getting a wizard on table is nice. That's the format that's the color combination does the most with the colorless mana. And sometimes you get things like an Adelies where they become awesome. But I'm clearly going to take the intervention. Also, I just passed an Arcanist 2 packs ago. They go super late. I know I'm going to get an Arcanist or 2 if I want to.
All right, so after 3 picks, you have 3 red cards.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at how you start to fill things in. You end up with a Blink of an Eye and a Tempest Djinn. How hard is it to work a card like Tempest Djinn into a deck once you've already have 3 red cards?
I mean, it's not that hard. I took it out and I know, okay, I'm going to end up playing 9 or 10 islands, probably 9. If I have to play with 8, it's not the end of the world. Maybe I get a little bit of mana fixing. But it's just a really good card. I want to be in blue-red anyway. And it's probably at least a decent sign to blue Summit Open because it is a powerful card.
Okay, and then let's take a look at some of the next cards that have made their way into your deck. We see a Gitu Lava Runner and a Gitu Journey Mage get into the mix, and we see a couple of other cards you're picking up along the way, like a Radiating Lightning for your sideboard or something like that. So how do you feel at the end of pack 1 as you're filling out these last kind of like Dross cards there on the side? We see an Arcanist that doesn't even make your deck, one that does make your deck. Oh no, that's the one that's in your deck.
Look, I felt pretty good. Obviously I didn't see any bombs, any super powerful cards. I think my shell is very good. I think I'm in a very good position. I think that this is certainly an above average first pack. And if you factor in that I effectively didn't get a first pick out of it, I think this is a really good first pack.
No bombs at all was how you described this.
I'm set up for exactly where I want to be.
All right, so let's go ahead and what happened for you in these first 3 picks in pack 2? We see an Icy Manipulator, an Academy Journey Mage, and another Goblin Barrage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly what was in the Icy Manipulator pack. As is usually the case, it was clearly the best card. I don't remember why I took the Journey Mage over, but it's a card I'm really looking for. I'm really happy to have it. And then Barrage, look, I think Barrage is a fine card. It's maybe a slightly better Fiery Intervention. But,
they both kill an artifact.
They do both kill an artifact. Yes, they do.
Sometimes it's your own.
So I don't remember exactly what I took them over, but I mean, again, I'm not like thrilled. It's not like I'm getting bombs, but I'm getting just really solid cards for my deck.
Well, watching the draft over someone else's shoulder, I was wondering where Journey Mage is winding up. I see you took this one pretty early.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Journey Mage is a great card.
Yeah, all right, let's keep moving along. We see another Journey Mage makes its way into your deck, another Blink of an Eye, and an Unwind that ends up in your sideboard, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, still feeling pretty good here. Let's keep moving along. And I'm curious about the Warlord's Furies that are making their way into your deck. What is it about that card that you're like just card draw, card selection?
Yeah, it does a lot of little things. First of all, about half the time in these decks you end up with an Adeliz, which is obviously it's absurd.
Yeah.
You have your Lava Runners, so you can make them 2 power a little bit earlier. You get to just cycle through to find your best cards. And also, as the way my deck played out, I had a lot of 3/2 creatures. Now, the format is just like littered with 2/2s and 1/3s. Also 2/3s. And so your 3/2s, generally, if you're not bouncing something, they're good trade off for like mediocre, not super exciting ways. But I was happy with the Furies because, especially when they're a little bit on the back foot and they're ready to block, and also you get Warlord's Fury and all your guys get first strike, it makes their life a lot harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna say like I'm super excited to be playing 3 Warlord's Fury in a deck like this. Doesn't necessarily have a ton of synergy with it.
Right. Gitu Journey Mage, also a card that's giving you a little bit of reach.
Oh,
here.
yeah. No, he's great.
All right, so let's keep going here. Let's look at that. We see a 3rd Academy Journey Mage making its way, and we see a Sorcerer's Wand. This is a card I think not quite as controversial as Navigator's Compass, but I mean, how often do you find yourself playing this card?
So to be clear, when you say controversial, you mean terrible, right? I mean,
Yes.
I'm not saying that I'm in decks where I have to play Navigator's Compass. But I wouldn't call it controversial. I would just call that,
a terrible
throw it
card.
away.
Yeah.
Sorcerer's Wand, I think people like it probably a little more than they should. I think generally in decks like this, and this is obviously the deck for it, you'd rather just have, the other, card that does something on the table that advances the board. But that said, the way my deck developed, and I guess we're going to see the rest of it at the end, I had a lot of ground creatures, I had a lot of tempo. I only had 2 evasion creatures in the Tempest Djinn and the Academy Drake. So I thought this was a deck that could really easily get them low, but then not be able to break through, which of course makes the wand better. And also given that I had 2 Goblin Barrages, and it does let me have an outlet to sack and do 4. Now, like I said before, I'm not changing my pick order because I have Goblin Barrages, but that definitely factored into my choosing to put the wand in the deck.
You can see a thing where you maybe get 6 damage in on that last turn,
Exactly.
sneaking some extra damage in with the barrage. Now you have 9 creatures at this point at the end of pack 2 in your deck. You know, how many creatures are you generally looking for in a blue-red deck? Like, where do you want to be?
I mean, usually these decks are going to probably end up in the 12 to 14 or 15 range. You know, I end up with 3 Warlord's Fury, so I sort of have like a 37 card deck. So, you know, maybe you round up by a little bit in terms of the effective number of creatures. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm probably going to end up in the, 13-ish range.
All right, well, let's keep moving on. Let's see how pack 3 treated you. We see 4 Academy Journey Mages in your deck, 3 Gitu Journey Mages in your deck at this point. That's pretty good, and we see that the Academy Drake you had mentioned earlier finally makes its appearance. So creatures 1, 2, and 3 here get you up to 12. So you're really close to where you want to be with those.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm feeling pretty excited. I would have liked to have more good 1 and 2 drop wizards. There really aren't that many of them. You know, the Trickster is the really good one, and Lava Runner, which can be quite good in decks like this.
All right, let's keep moving along. Let's take a look. We see another Arcanist makes its way in. Sapperling Migration. Talk about that's just a hate draft at that point.
Yeah, I don't remember if I took that over. I may have actually taken that over like a Temporal Sundering, which I love. Like, I think that card is amazing. I think that everyone underrates it. But pick 5, pack 3, and I mean, you can just look here. I just obviously couldn't play it.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, my thought that my deck might have problems with, to make a bunch of ground creatures, because my plan is to bounce your creature and attack on the ground for a bit and then maybe burn you out at the end. And so, I thought I'd rather just not play against that card.
Right. One of the different things about playing in a potted draft than maybe playing in a league on Magic Online. Let's take a look at the last couple things that are going on here. We see a Befuddle, a Divination, a second Sorcerer's Wand, which doesn't make the deck, but you do side that in the first round too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm playing against against Andrea with double Planeswalker, and where his deck's pretty slow and he can gum up the ground. So yeah, in that case, this was quite good. Generally, I feel like if I ever draw 2 Sorcerer's Wands, you just want to, go into the back corner and cry, right? It's terrible.
And then let's take a look at your last handful of picks. We see that 3rd Warlord's Fury shows up, and this is the final deck that you end up with. And this was something you were very happy with?
Yeah, I mean, my deck has no bombs.
Right.
But it's a very good, cohesive deck that comes together. And I think that given the fact that there are no bombs in my deck, it's at the upper end of the range of decks.
All right. Well, Jon Finkel walks us through his love for the blue-red archetype in this draft format. He's got one more round to go with it here at Pro Tour Dominaria. We wish him the best of luck.